Yes, we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Couch Pundits Sports Formula One stream. I'm just going to wait for everyone to join. And for those who are here, this is the first stream of the season. There's a very exciting season lined up for us up ahead. It's going to be madness. As we've seen from qualifying, there is a lot of, as usual, lying and manipulation that has been happening. And I expect this to go on throughout the season. It's going to be a very exciting season this year. There's rule changes, there is car changes, there is driver changes, but Bottas is still out qualifying George Russell. So there are some things that just don't change. And for that, we are glad. Today, I'm joined by two very special people. Both of them have been on the stream before, and we are very excited and thankful to have them back. They chose to come back and stream with us. So, yay to us and yay to them. Today, we have Akhil Rabindra and Jamie Shaw joining us. It's going to be a good stream. It's going to be a short stream. We're trying to not overlap with Formula 2, which is starting at 10:10. So please, guys, check that out as well. And through the stream, we're going to make some announcements. There's a live event happening tomorrow. So just stick around for that. And while you're here, please hit the like button. And welcome Akhil and Jamie. Jamie should be joining. Hi, Akhil.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How are you doing?
Good. Intense qualifying.
Intense to say the least, huh?
Yeah.
Before we talk about qualifying, how are you, man? Like, what's happening with you?
All good. Just been busy training, work, usual life. My season will start soon.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to announce soon. Yeah.
Yeah. So when is your season starting?
First weekend of April.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Great.
2
So we
weeks.
will keep the viewers updated on that as we try and endeavor to do. It's just that because where can we find like information about the races and all that you're racing in, other than the GT4 websites?
Just the website, Instagram. They keep posting and putting out different stuff. So yeah, there'll be streams and everything. You can watch both the races, and maybe even qualifying is streamed. So most of it is
it's fairly technical. The last time I checked it, there are so many times that are provided because so many cars are racing. It gets confusing for somebody who's not used to it.
Yeah.
But we'll try and keep up with that. And also Jamie is here. Jamie, hello. While he turns on his camera. Hey man, how are you?
Can you guys see me?
Yes, we can see you and hear you very clearly.
Hi, what's up?
What's up? How are you doing?
Doing all right. How you been?
Good. How was your season?
It's been going. It went pretty well. I'd say pretty decent. Akhil is here?
Akhil he's here. Can you see him?
Yeah, how are you?
I can see you right now, Dhaval, but not Akhil. Hi, Akhil. I'm doing great. How are you?
All good.
Jamie, sorry, could you turn it to landscape?
Sure. 1 second.
Perfect. That's great. Awesome. So, first thoughts, Akhil, on Mercedes sandbagging, yes or no?
No, I don't think there was sandbagging. I think right through from Barcelona to Bahrain, they were always on the back foot and never once they ever showed potential or anything. And also I think Lewis, for the gentleman he is, I think after Bahrain he said, we're not going to be fighting for poles and all that. So I don't think you say that and then put it on poles. I think there was genuine concern and yeah. So I think.
But they lost porpoising in FP3 finally.
Yeah, I think Hamilton got a new floor and they got some modification which he ran FP1, FP2 while Russell was still bouncing, and I think that solved it. And I think from what the commentator said, the car was running very low, so we'll be going through a lot of floors or the wooden plank at the bottom. But yeah, it solved it. I guess I think there's potential. They have to unlock it in the new car and design.
Yeah, Jamie, you must be excited. Ferrari's back on top.
I am extremely excited. I am so happy for Leclerc right now. This is like he's making redemption for 2019, where they were on the top, but unfortunately he had an engine issue and he had to actually not retire. The safety car in the end saved him because He fell 2 places and he held third away from Max only because of that safety car. So I am extremely happy with today's quali. I'm actually one of the guys who tries my best not to really support anyone and try staying absolutely neutral. But my God, I am so happy for Leclerc right now. And speaking about the porpoising effect, actually, it's Mercedes was facing it actually in a few more areas of the tracks that even other cars were not even having to deal with it. So they were trying to lower their cars, and eventually Mercedes found a way to lower their cars and avoid dealing with the porpoising. So for everyone here who does not know what the porpoising effect is, it's actually something that's created because of the aero of the car, the aerodynamic features. It pushes the car to the floor to suck it and give the car more grip. But right when it does that, because it's sucking it all the way down, it hits the floor and the car bounces back up. And so this effect keeps happening, and that's what creates the bounce. So a lot of teams were dealing with it, Mercedes included. And I for sure felt that they were sandbagging, but quali definitely showed otherwise.
Yeah. Ferrari engines generally are doing better than Mercedes engines right now. Honda obviously is separate because Verstappen is running it. But it's good
Red
to
Bull
see.
powered.
Yeah, Red Bull powered. Let's call it that. It's good to see actually, because after that whole 2020 incident where the engine was declared illegal in a sense, it's good to have Ferrari back. And I feel like this year it's not going to be just Hamilton Verstappen, because the way it's looking right now, obviously it's a long season, things are going to change, people are going to catch up, people are going to have upgrades, this, that, and the other. And we know Mercedes is a very good team, but it's nice to have the red back on top. Akhil, I'll come to you with this. First, what do you feel about Valtteri Bottas's qualifying?
I think he did a good job. I mean,
good is an understatement, man.
Awesome job.
Yeah, but I mean, see, great job. Seeing what he didn't get any running in Barcelona and all that, and even in Bahrain it was on and off. I think he went out of the pits and again he stopped. So limited running. I think the car had potential. So, and I think best part is that I don't know if the pressure is off or anything. He's a free man in a different engine engine behind, and he's performing. So I think it's very interesting to see he split both the Mercedes. So let's see what happens tomorrow.
That's true. And speaking of someone who is changed teams, doing new things, Kevin Magnussen. Jamie, what do you think of this guy? Where has he come from?
I was really shocked that he entered into Formula One. There was a lot of gossip going on about even Jehan getting that seat, and it was quite surprising to think of those terms. So to finally see Magnussen get the seat, I think it's a great decision they've made, because he's got the experience not only in a Formula One car in recent years, but also with that exact team. So I'm sure there must be a lot of development that carries on through the team, even though it's a different car, the regulations have changed. I'm quite certain that he knows a lot of things about the team not a lot of other drivers might know. So it's great to see him back and racing in Formula One, let alone Haas. It's also great to see that Haas has made some really good progress. I, for one, didn't believe that they would be anything higher than P8 right now. And the best part is that it's so competitive, and that's exactly what we need. Seeing a Williams and a Haas out there in Q2s, out qualifying even an Aston Martin right now, the McLaren's falling back, and it's just fun to see so many cars in the mix. 7 teams in the top 10. That's brilliant.
Absolutely. Aviral in the chat asking thoughts on Kushmani's weekend so far. I mean, he's had a pretty decent weekend. He finished P3 in qualifying, but because of the whole weighbridge and all of those penalties that he got, he started P30.
Right.
From the pit lane, basically. And he still managed to get to P15. So, wow, he's doing very well. Also, Jehan is racing at 10:10. So we're going to try and wrap up the stream by then. We don't want to overlap into that. Jimmy has been very particular. I want to watch it. And we also want to watch it. See, there you go. Don't show it on screen. Hey, chal. You want to get a channel struck off or what? What are you doing? Nikhil asking, do you think Max and Charles will have a racing incident? Yes. Akhil, why don't you answer that? Seems like it's from your brother.
Yeah, no, I think they have history.
Yeah.
Started in Austria, I think 2019, when I think Max pushed Charles off, and
Max
they
was
both
4 and Charles was 3.
yeah, and so they have that history. And then in Silverstone later in the same year, I think Leclerc started to become very aggressive, and that was some great battles in Silverstone. So they've had history. They're both aggressive. I think Charles is, when you push him, he can get aggressive, but I think he's more the normal type of driver. And knowing Max, I think he doesn't care who it is. He push anyone to the limit, and he crashes, he crashes. So I think Leclerc knows that. He knows what Max is capable of. He's seen last year what has happened with other cars. So, and I don't think Leclerc has anything to lose. He has a competitive car, and he's going to go for it. But Ferrari get the strategies right. Even science is in play. I mean, you can still win on pit stops or something. So it's all there. I think one is racing, second is strategy. So yeah, I mean, both might crash, Sainz might win. So never know.
I mean, do you think Max and Charles are going to have a racing incident? From what Akhil is saying, it might be possible that Leclerc and Sainz might have something. We saw a great partnership between them last year because they were still developing the team to become like a challenging team for race wins and poles and stuff like that. This year, from the looks of it, from just seeing practice and qualifying, they seem to have like a car that can compete.
Right.
And both of them now are capable drivers. Who is going to be number 1 and number 2? Is there going to be some friction over here, you think, Jamie?
So, very coincidentally, the way Ferrari has been working, the new driver that comes in is better than the older driver, and then the older driver is forced out of the team. Let's take Sebastian and Kimi, for instance. Then came Leclerc, and Sebastian was thrown out. Now comes Sainz, and Sainz has already beaten in the points last year as compared to Leclerc. He was already ahead. So that's just all coincidental, I'd say. But I think it's a great pairing. They're both really young. According to me, Sainz has always been a very underrated driver. Right from his Toro Rosso days when he joined, he was, basically let go of to Renault. Renault let go of him, got taken into McLaren. McLaren maybe noticed his value, but Ferrari just picked him up in time, I'd say. And I'd say it was a really risky move because you see, back in 2019 when Ferrari was doing well, you're right, they did have a little bit of an issue, but it wasn't ever deemed illegal. They were just told to make the change, and all of a sudden they were far slower. So the change was associated to the pumping of fuel into the engine, but that's something completely else. So he was making a big risk. That name Ferrari is a big name, but of course you want to be in a team that's either fighting for the championship or the highest place in the championship you can be. So I think Sainz, Ferrari, great combination, but me just having that, that backing, I mean, that feeling of Leclerc being just the right guy to win you the championship. Because in my opinion, the similarity I'd see between a Max and a Leclerc is they're both so hungry for that win, to dare to maybe not prove themselves because they've already proved themselves, but just there to get that championship. Of course, Max has got it now, but the difference between them both, I'd say, is that Leclerc would bring you a slightly more consistent finishing position without, having a significant drop, especially because of, let's say, a collision. Maybe he'll get that P1 when Max might have got the maybe he'll get the P2 when Max might have got that P1. But, maybe he can also finish a few more races, getting you a lot more points, Like we saw in the last race, it all came down to literally 0 points. That was the difference. So having a consistent driver over a guy who is maybe finishing a very irregular first place can also be really beneficial for your team. And that's exactly what both of them would bring, I'd say, Sainz and Sainz and Leclerc, my bad.
Yeah. Fair enough. Pavanande Bottas out qualified George. Yes, he did, and I think this is going to be a trend for the first few races at least, till Mercedes figure out some stuff, iron out some kinks. Vineet is asking Ferrari party mode. Ferrari is going to party for the rest of the season, man. You better believe it. They've got the smooth operator with them, and Leclerc also. So, Neil, views on helmet camera view. I mean, I think I'm the only person qualified to answer this because these people have helmet camera view all the time. Because they actually drive race cars, for a living.
We don't
So
have it
I
inside
think,
the helmet, but I mean, I don't.
sorry,
We don't have it inside the helmet. I
No,
don't.
he's talking about our eyes. Like we can
like
see
this is
the
Oh,
what you
that
track.
way.
guys see,
Okay.
right? Like when you all are driving, this is what they're simulating for people like me is what you guys get
Oh,
to
okay. Yeah.
watch. So yeah, for me, I mean, as a viewer, for everyone, I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty kick-ass. And I think it's only going to get better from here in terms of coverage. We'll actually be able to see actually वो cut मारा कि नहीं मारा. तो वो पता चलेगा अभी सब. Quickly. I will get to some chat questions in a minute. Before that, I have made an announcement for tomorrow. Couch Pundits is doing a live event, guys. We are going to see you guys in person where you can actually touch us. Please don't touch us. We don't like that, but you can if you want to. It's happening at a place called Mitro in Bandra. It starts at 7. We've got Vignesh with us. He's been on our stream before. He's going to come there, and it's like an evening with Couch Pundits. That's the whole point. The GP is obviously going to be live screened at the venue. The things are on Book My Show. I'll put the link in the description. So please, yeah, there you go, Shrishti. Thank you. Amazing. Shrishti has put the link in the chat. So if you guys are in Bombay and if you guys want to meet us and just chill and hang and watch the race, please come. Things start at 7. Proceedings will start at 7:30. There'll be a little, Siddharth Shetty will do some bits on stage. We'll have Vignesh on stage. He'll maybe take some questions, this, that, followed by the race screening. So yeah, coming back. What are we coming back to? Like top 5 things you guys are expecting from this season. Akhil, first to you. Okay, top 3 things. Let's just do that.
Top 3 things. I think Magnussen is going to ruin the party. I think every now and then for many of the competitors. And again, he's also a big ballsy guy, right? He's always the hardest person to overtake and he defends to the limit. So if he still got it, he's going to just be there. And if he's ahead of a few cars, it's going to be very hard to overtake him, even though it's easier to overtake. I think Bottas, he has nothing to lose. He has everything to gain. He has no restrictions. I don't think anyone's going to tell him anything. So, and he has to be the team leader. So again, he's going to go all out. Yeah. I think Hamilton will struggle for the next few races. But even like in this qualifying, Russell went first to punch a hole through the air for Hamilton, and hence he was a few tenths up. So I don't know how that dynamic is going to play to keep Lewis ahead. Yeah, and then there's definitely going to be drama between Ferrari, I feel, and between one or two of the Ferrari drivers with Max. I feel those are the 3 things.
Yeah. Arsha is asking in the chat, how many classifications will we see at the finish line tomorrow, Jamie?
How many people finishing the race? I'd say, so my prediction actually on my Insta was that there will definitely be 2 DNFs and there'll be 1 safety car. And also my prediction was that Max and Leclerc, I just have a dirty feeling about them touching, maybe not taking each other out, but God, yeah. those two, I definitely see them touching, especially because the Ferrari is 1-3, if I'm not mistaken, they've qualified. So, Sainz trying to get in the mix, maybe coming on the inside, Verstappen having to move maybe on the outside. You don't ever know what could happen. But I just feel like those two have a dirty feeling about them.
Har Sahib saying in the chat, good to see Magnussen doing well for Haas. Yes, and Har Sahib saying it's good to see you in the chat. It's been a while. Vinneet, there's some time question. There is a question. There is a comment from Nikhil, which I'm not going to read because we are not a political podcast here. But yeah, they are putting American flags on their cars. What do you think of the timing tower glitches? What are you talking about, Aviral? Do you guys know what is timing tower glitches? Because I don't know what he's talking about.
No, are you talking about the graphic by any chance?
I don't know. There was something, Jamie, I saw this on your stories also. And Akhil, I wanted to put this question to you before I take it to Jamie. Is that if you were watching qualifying in P1, qualifying 1, we saw first lap pe Perez go out of bounds. He left the track.
Oh, yeah, track limits, yeah.
He went off track limits, but his timing was kept.
Yeah.
Okay. Now there was
Yeah, Gasly.
I mean, I saw Perez. Maybe you saw more. That was his very first lap of qualifying, and after all that has happened last year, after so much criticism given, like, to the steward for inconsistencies, they need to be really careful what they're doing, because what they're doing right now is going to be setting precedents also. Like, if they're allowing some leeway on track limits which are obviously set beforehand, or they're not allowing it, they're being very strict. So firstly, do you think he violated track limits? And secondly, do you think it's going to be a much more scrutinized season? And how much pressure is there on the stewards?
Yeah, so first of all, this year, the new regulation is that the white line is a track limit and the curbs are off. So technically, you can put 2 wheels on the curb, but you still got to keep some wheels on circuit. If you go all 4 wheels out, that's obviously beyond track limit. So like you said, Perez and I think definitely Gasly and one more person, I think, were off 4 wheels and they got through and there's no penalty. I know in Q2, like Mick did a lap and he got pushed down and all that. Yeah, it wasn't even, the commentators brought that up, but I just hope that just from Q1, like you said, starting off, if they don't set what is black and white and don't follow the rules, and then suddenly in Q3 they start throwing these things, then it's unfair for people who could have gotten or maybe could have gotten, because end of the day, if you do a good lap and there's 10 seconds to go, and a lower team also has done a good lap and they're just on the border and the better team falls behind, then that team which would have never got into Q2 or Q1 have that one odd chance and once in a blue moon chance. And it's end of the day, it's a rule, it's black and white, and also puts drivers in check, right? You got to be really good and really talented to drive as fast and be within the white lines. So yeah, I just hope going forward and even the race, there is consistency, because these cars are heavier, are harder to drive, and they're a bit sluggish. So mistakes are going to be more this year, and going off the track is going to be more. So they have to be consistent with the same rules.
Yeah. Jamie, after what happened in Abu Dhabi, everyone has been like, it was an incident. It was a season-defining incident, unfortunately. But in that background, how do you expect the stewards to behave? There's no Michael Massey anymore.
So there's actually a very big change, which is the race director has been practically removed, but they've got 2 race directors now, almost as if it's 2. So they've got one person who makes the decision and one person who maybe can counter that decision, which is very different. It might lead to more confusions, because now you've got 2 people who can make that choice, So I think I have no idea how. So there was a rule that said, any lap cars could be allowed to pass. Now they've simply changed it to all lap cars could be passed. So if I was to tell you, pick any of the employees, you might pick 5 out of 10 or 4 out of 10. If I say pick all of the employees, you're left with no choice. So I would say personally,
I would argue against that. Any lap cars means any cars that have been been lapped.
Right. So I would say technically, just from what is written on paper, if you went to a court and fought, I think that makes he can be, let's say, he can say that I was abiding by the rules, because it clearly does state any cars. But I would say that's
वो तो उसने गोची किया, बहुत गोची किया उसने last year.
I also completely agree that I think he goofed up, and the FIA made it so clear, which is actually not the best way to put it forward. They've called it a human error, and they've put a lot of claims to it, which actually just puts a bigger asterisk on Max's championship, because he didn't have anything to do with it. He just drove and he got lucky in a way, I'd say. So he won it, and racing is racing. Some people lose out on decisions that are made. Yeah. So that's sad for him that now there's an even bigger asterisk on his championship. That's all.
Yeah, fair enough. Nikhil is asking, he needs to understand what happened between Q1 and Q2 for Albon. Was it a timed timid exit, or was there an issue with the car? I am not sure at this point. Maybe we'll wait for some post qualifying interviews and stuff like that to hear more from Williams, and maybe we'll know a little more. But yeah, everyone just keeps talking about Bottas out qualifying Russell.
Brilliant.
And yes, that is the moment of the day. But also there are a few teams that we have not yet spoken about, Aston Martin and McLaren in particular. We'll start with McLaren. Akhil, what did you think? Norris out qualifying Daniel was bound to happen, given that Daniel had no time in the past week on track, whereas Norris was out there doing what he was doing. But generally, McLaren, what are you feeling?
I mean, like you said, yeah, they had a good Barcelona test, and when they came to Bahrain, they had some the brakes were not efficient and they were not holding, and that they had a cooling issue. And then Daniel missed the whole of Bahrain testing, and he came straight to this. At the same time, he was complaining a lot, saying understeer, I think, throughout qualifying and here and there. And he also is coming with that pressure, saying that he wants to have a good year and wants to do better than Lando, and that gap is there. So I mean, end of the day, your car can be bad or good or something. Your first competitor is your teammate, right? So yeah, even if the car is really bad and you're last and second last, you still got to be first your teammate. It's just unfortunate to see Daniel there because he's extremely quick, extremely capable. I just think he didn't get the car in the right window. I think similar for Lando, I think he did what the car could do, maybe a 10th or 2. I think he qualified 13th or something, or he could have gone up to 10th, but I think top 10 is out. But yeah, it's also, they've gone a bit, their philosophy, if I'm not wrong, is the thinners are not so wide side pods versus all the cars up front. I mean, if it's the Red Bull or the Ferrari, or I think even the Alpha, they're quite wide. So yeah, just wait for updates, wait for unlocking of potential. And Aston Martin, they were not particularly quick in boat testing, and they found it difficult. So I mean, good job by Hulkenberg. I don't know if he's got used to these Thursday calls or Wednesday calls coming in. So yeah, he always comes and does something, and he did out qualify Lance. So good job. So I think from what I heard on the radio, he had a bit more pace to go a bit higher up, but yeah, I think they'll struggle a few races, but eventually they'll get competitive.
Yeah. What is this? Do you think? I don't know about these rules, but are they allowed to make changes to the structure of the car, like the side pods, as you were talking about, or do they need to spend upgrades on that?
You mean like tokens last year?
Yeah.
No, there's no token system. If I'm right, you're allowed to change. I mean, not structurally is probably the same. You can make upgrades or anything around the car. You can replace, change, and yeah. So I'm right.
So if McLaren were to feel that their car would be better served if they had smaller side pods or bigger
side pods, I think they can definitely come up with bigger side pods, and
they can do that even through the season at any point. Fair enough.
Just to actually add to this, the development of a car. Let's say that through your season, your front wing isn't working the best, and you, let's say, decide to go with Mercedes' front wing. The thing about aero is that if you change the front end of your car, the way the air impacts the rest of your car is absolutely different. So these changes, if I'm not mistaken, yes, Akhil might be right, they can be allowed to make them. It's just that when you're in a season and you've got 10 months till the end of the season, that's not enough time to create an absolutely different structure of your entire car, to make that change. So the best, I mean, of course, they'd know best, not me. But the best thing might be to change a certain aspect of it. But I don't think they'd be able to completely change that
the
part.
domino effect would happen if you just change one thing, everything else.
I feel like their wheels look like Skittles, dude. I first appreciated the Google look, but later it just looked really sad on TV, man.
Yeah, man. First race of the season, Hamilton, Bottas on third row, but different teams. Yeah, imagine the scenes if Bottas crashes into Hamilton on lap 1. Imagine.
Insane.
Abhi to James nahi bolega na mere ko kuch bhi.
It says you won't believe he's been in Q3 every single race since 2017. That's just insane. That's too good.
बट उसका वही है ना, वो मतलब रेस में कुछ हो जाता है, उसको पता
नहीं.
His
luck is terrible, dude.
एक तो his luck is terrible. Secondly, he has those weird ass starts. I don't know what happens to him. I think those 30 seconds where you are supposed to like be at the top of your game, he's just like, हाँ मतलब करेंगे बाद में, देखेंगे क्या होता है, जरा इधर पान वान खा लेते हैं साइड में थोड़ा. Mercedes powered cars are struggling and
Yep.
Ferrari engines are performing very well. Yes, guys, but this is
100%.
literally the first race of the season and there is a long way to go. We will see developments and we will see changes. So let us not get ahead of ourselves. Let's move on to race predictions because we are about 10 minutes away from the start of F2 sprint. Is it it's a sprint? Today's the sprint.
Right.
Yeah. So we don't want to take up too much of your time. You guys should also go and watch that. So Akhil, I'll come to you. Do you expect the current pole sitter to take the checkered flag, or are you looking at maybe Max or somebody else?
I'll put a small blanket on it. I will widen it and say there'll be a Ferrari, Red Bull, and Mercedes.
Okay. You just don't know who's going to be there.
Yeah, in that combination of 6.
Fair enough. What do you think, Jamie, for podium finishes?
I would really like to see a Ferrari on that podium win the race. But actually, I made a prediction before quali even began, which is now, I'd say, not such a great, prediction, which was Hamilton wins the race. So let's see, because strategy will play an important role. You see, a lot of these guys are quick in quali, but not always the best in the race. Ferrari are known for absolutely tarnishing their strategy, and just if they're on the back foot, then they'll just slightly come up. But if they're at the top, they just somehow mess things up, is what I've noticed. So I mean, I hope they don't. I want to see Leclerc win this race, quite honestly. But there are just so many variables now. I mean, you've also got the fact that you no longer start on your Q2 set, But earlier, the rule was that when you qualify in the tire you use to get through from Q2 to Q1, that's the exact same tire you start your race on. So what that would mean was that everyone from P11 to last gets a fresher set of tires or gets a different set of rubber to use as compared to the guys in the top 10. Yeah. But now that's no longer the case. So everyone who is maybe in the top 10 also gets that advantage now, selecting a fresh set of tires. So that could also mean that the front of the pack pulls away from the back of the pack even faster. But again, the cars are just so, there's not such a big gap anymore. It's really evenly
It's going to
matched.
be quite close as we had expected. Absolutely. With the regulations changing, with the financial caps and everything that we were expecting to happen seems to be happening in the first race itself. Of course, it remains to be seen what happens throughout the season. Siddharth Shetty is in the chat. For some reason, he is not here today. He had other commitments, but he's watching it. So clearly, he really likes us. So hey man, he's a big fan of Ferrari and he really hopes that Charles gets his due. He will. Sabka lega badla wo, tumhara Faisal. Vineet is asking, do you think Bottas's engineer has moved to Alfa Romeo? By the way, he was Bottas's engineer, but actually he was on Hamilton's payroll. If you guys remember, if you guys have been fans of this podcast and watching from the beginning, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then just go and ask people in the chat. Predictions coming in: Leclerc, Verstappen, and Magnussen. Man, that's wow.
Bold.
Srishti saying was Verstappen, Leclerc, and Russell. That's kind of in line with what Akhil said, with a few numbers here and there. But yeah, Arsh is saying Sainz, Verstappen, Leclerc. So Ferrari 1 and 3 with Verstappen in between. So basically, everyone is predicting Verstappen to be somewhere on the podium. We just don't know where.
Hopefully, he finishes.
Yeah.
In order to finish first you need to finish.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Any other things that we have not yet covered? Once again, Shrishti is very sweet. The event link is in the chat. We're having a live event tomorrow at Mitro Bandra, 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock onwards. Races at 8:30. We're doing some stuff before the race. So guys, if you're in Bombay, please come and check it out. Yeah. Any other teams that we've missed out? Williams.
I think Williams is a little bit surprising, I'd say, because you see all Mercedes cars are suffering right now. But Williams, considering that the engine plays one role and the other parts of the car play other roles, Williams has sort of maintained a certain standard, I'd say. I mean, they are
to be at the bottom.
Yeah, they are perform. I mean, Albon at least performed better than both Aston Martins. That's a little bit of a surprise. So it's good to see that this team is not really fallen back to where it was in 2018, 19, 20. It's just good to see them just be a little up. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah. Akhil, AlphaTauri, Tsunoda not doing well. Gasly being Gasly as he is.
I think Tsunoda has done well in terms of Tsunoda, right? He's done clean runs. He's got
That's such a backhanded insult.
No, I mean I'm saying that from what he was, he's kind of cleaned up. He's got his act cleaned up, right? He's got all good runs. He's performing it with a harder car. He's not had any casualties or spins or anything. So he's done a good job. I think the pace. I mean, we always knew Gasly was faster. So, but I won't be surprised in another few races if he's couple of tenths, if not matching Gasly's pace. So yeah, and being the first race and everything, it's also tight. But I think halfway in or into the season, he should be within a tenth or two, and getting on a consistent rhythm. The only thing I wanted to say, or you said on the races, the cars are heavier, the rims are bigger, so the whole tire is bigger. So the pit stops aren't going to be as fast. I mean, is what they're saying. If they're as fast, and that's very good. But there might be some pit stop challenges also. So going for those record times might not happen this year, and that is also a variable where bad pit stops just screw up people's race.
Bottas.
I really hope Bottas doesn't have the pit stop luck that he had with Mercedes, but yeah. Lots is in the air. Just once again, thank you, Akhil. Thank you, Jamie, for giving us your time. It has been a pleasure as always. We hope to see you guys through the rest of the season every now and then when you all have the time. We would love to have you back. Yeah, sprint race is starting F2. So if you guys are still here, you guys need to go and watch that. It is being screened on Star and like Star Sports, basically. I think on Hotstar as well. Right. So do go check it out. And yeah, the guests are free to leave. I'm just going to finish up some housekeeping things. And once again, thank you so much. Hope to have a good, clean race tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Dhaval. Great being here. Nice seeing you, Akhil.
See you, Jamie. Thanks, you all. Talk to you soon.
Bye. See you guys.
Okay, that leaves us with just once again plugging the event for tomorrow. Oh, what happened to my guy? My guy is dead. My Zoom is dead. I don't know if you guys can you guys hear me? Can you guys see me? Please, somebody in the chat tell me if you all can see me and hear me. Oh, yes, there I am. Okay. Yeah. One last time, plugging the event. It starts at 7 o'clock at Mitro in Bandra. Link is in the chat. Siddharth Shetty is going to be there. He's going to be hosting the event. The proceedings in general start at 7:30 p.m. So if you guys can gather before that, Vignesh is with us. He's going to be our guest for the evening. And the screening of the race will start at 8:30 because that's when the race starts. There is a cover charge. The Book My Show link is there in the chat. And yeah, it's just like an evening with Couch Pundits. Come and watch the race with us. It's going to be really fun. We're going to be here through the rest of the season. We're going to try and get more guests. If you guys have suggestions for guests, please let us know in the comments to this video, because this stream is going to be kept up. Unlike some of our earlier cricket streams. Follow us on Instagram and let us know over there if you guys have guest suggestions. If you guys know people that you would like to see on the stream and know how to contact them also, please let us know. We will be very happy to speak to as many people in the world of motorsport as possible. If you guys know of up-and-coming Indian race car drivers, please definitely tell us. We want to get in touch with as many, not just race car drivers, all motorsport drivers from India. And yeah, we're trying to generally, as Couch Pundits, if you guys don't know, we're trying to promote awareness about sport at lower levels, which are not televised generally. So we have also tried to have a series with regards to interviewing domestic cricketers, having purely domestic like seasons. And that is a problem because BCCI is BCCI. But I digress. Anchal was fun last season. Yeah, man. We also had fun having Anchal on our stream. She had great insights and an amazing point of view. So yeah, we would love to have her back. We will try and get her back. Hopefully, she will agree. And on that note, thank you so much to the moderators. Thank you to everyone in the chat for tuning in. Please like the stream, subscribe to the channel, and see you guys tomorrow. Whoever is still here, hope to see you tomorrow. Peace.